It is remarkable. I mean, I would argue it's certainly among the biggest, if not the biggest day since the launch of this network. It is a momentous change adding UCLA, but you're getting it is remarkable. I mean, I would argue it's certainly among the biggest, if not the biggest day UCLA since the launch of this network. 20 different teams. It is a momentous change adding UCLA, but you're getting it is remarkable. I mean, I would argue it's certainly among the biggest, if not the biggest day since the launch of this network. Those are unbelievable. Arguably, I'd say UCLA, but you're getting it is remarkable. I mean, I would argue it's certainly among the biggest, if not the biggest day since the launch of this network. Those are unbelievable. Arguably, I'd say UCLA, it is remarkable. I would argue it's certainly among the biggest, if not the biggest day since the launch of this network. Those are unbelievable. Arguably, I'd say UCLA, it is remarkable. I would argue it's certainly among the biggest, if not the biggest day since the launch of this network. Those are unbelievable.
Partner, our athletic director, Martin Jarmond. And we have a lot to talk about, right?
But a couple things going on. Just a couple.
But before we get to the topic of the day, Martin, I can't let this week go any further without just saying, how about those Bruins in Paris?
Woo! Absolutely. Absolutely. We've got let's see, I don't know if the mic, can you guys hear me?
There you go.
There it is.
There
it is. There it is. Our Bruins in Paris have been phenomenal. We've got 49 participants, 41 athletes, 8 staff and coaches there. And it's amazing. I was in my office 2 days ago and we turned on the TV and you see the men's volleyball team and our head coach, John Spara, of men's volleyball alum, coaching them. You see women's volleyball and Alfie, our women's volleyball coach, is an assistant coach. And then you see Jordan Childs bringing home the gold. You know, I saw Maddie Musselman in the water with women's water polo. So we're just so proud and fortunate that our Bruins are representing UCLA on the biggest stage in an excellent fashion. So let's give it up for our Bruins in Paris.
And in this crowd, we can certainly say that is simply just what Bruins do, right? So we've got a lot to talk about in the time we have together today. And just so you know, sort of the lay of the land for the morning is, I've got a few questions and Martin and I are gonna talk through a couple of things about this day that we're celebrating today. And we will have some time at the end for some questions, so be patient.
Easy questions, easy, easy.
So we'll get to some of those. They're just maybe prizes, I'm just saying. But before we get to those, Martin, I want to give you an opportunity to make some opening remarks if you would like to do that.
Thank you. I would. You know, for those of you that have been around me, normally I like to wing things. I like to just wing it and let it go. But because today is such a momentous day for our athletics program, for our university joining the Big Ten Conference, last night I prepared some just opening remarks that if you would let me, I'd like to share those. I did that this morning with my teammates in the athletic department and some of our closest friends to the program and our administration. So if I could, I'd like to start that way. Is that all right? Team, 764 days ago, we made a decision that would forge a bold new trajectory for our students, our athletic department, and our great university. This move to the Big Ten, the oldest conference in the country, was made possible by all the former athletes and coaches who excelled to the tune of 123 NCAA national championships. But more importantly, They broke barriers, they blazed trails, and they changed the game. Well, today is our day that we changed the game. I want to thank all my teammates. We had over 300 department staff, faculty, and student athletes who tirelessly worked on creating our Fours Up strategic plan. And this plan will allow us to position us to win from day one going into our new conference. I am grateful for your dedication and your sacrifice to a goal that seemed so far away. Our current and future student athletes will benefit in ways we could not have imagined before. We're providing a national platform to compete, increasing resources and infrastructure, all designed to develop our students holistically. This move positions us for the future. But make no mistake about it, UCLA brings a winning tradition to the Big Ten. Those 123 national championships I mentioned, they put us on top of the conference leaderboard day one. And we expect to keep winning championships and compete at the elite level that this defines our program. So today marks a new day, a new chapter. The winds of change will continue to blow throughout college athletics in the years to come. We must be prepared to meet the moment, be nimble and adapt to the rapidly changing landscape. We've done it before, team, and we'll do it again. It's on us to uphold the rich history and tradition of those four letters. We today are ready to change the game. That is what Bruins do. Go Bruins.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Martin.
Save that. We might need to keep that from 50 years from now.
So, it has been a journey, people, right? So, Martin, I'm just curious before we even get into it. This morning, how did it feel?
Yesterday, I was so anxious last night. It was like, when you're a kid and it's like, like Thanksgiving or Christmas or something, like you're just so excited. I was so anxious and I just reflected on just the journey to get to this moment, which no one will know how much work, how many people, how much tireless effort went into positioning UCLA to get into the Big Ten. And
let's start with that, Martin.
Okay.
Let's we're here celebrating, but talk us through a little bit about that journey to get here.
Well, I can't share the details. That's got to come from my book. I've got to save something. There's a book deal somewhere now. Come on now. NIL is for administrators too. But no, college athletics was changing rapidly. 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, we didn't have the transfer portal. We didn't have name, image, and likeness. And so I believe it was the fall of 2021, I had a conversation with my boss, and shout out to Gene Block. 2 days ago was his last day as chancellor, but he was unwavering, his commitment. And we had a conversation and I said, this is something that we should explore if there's an opportunity.
That's something being the exploration to the conference?
Yeah, just conference because of the winds of change and where this is going. College athletics is going through consolidation. Just like in any business, consolidation comes, you've got to be able to see where it's coming. You've got to position your program for success. And that's what was happening 3 years ago. And so from that point, we went through a process and there were a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs that finally landed us to June 30th, 2022, where we kept it quiet, which was amazing until that day.
I think the people in this room remember that.
Yeah, everybody remembers where you were when you heard UCLA is going to the Big Ten, right? That was a moment. And it's a credit to, I can't give enough credit to Gene Block and his leadership and his faith in me to step out and try to do something that would change the trajectory of our athletics program just that it's hard, but we got it done.
Well, you started going down this road a little bit, but I think it's a real key thing that I'd like you to spend a little bit of time talking about. And that is just that changing landscape of college athletics. This isn't the same thing you got into a couple years ago. So you could talk a little bit about that. And from, not only affects us, but from that national perspective in terms of what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't your dad or your granddad or your grandmom's college athletics anymore. To give you an example of change, we serve our student athletes every day. Our faculty, our staff, our coaches, our department, we're here for one purpose: to serve our students. 3 years ago, when NIL started, even up to a year after, we have roughly 700 student athletes. 3 years ago, 0 student athletes had an NIL deal, name, image, and likeness. This past year, we had over 350 student athletes have a name, image, and likeness deal. Think about that. The people we serve, over half the population growth in less than 3 years, are partaking in something new that wasn't even around.
And just remind us why that matters.
Why that matters is, we always want to attract the best and the brightest to UCLA. You got to attract talent and you got to develop talent. That's what we do. Those two things: attract, develop. And so from a name, image, and likeness perspective, you better be in a position where your student athletes can be seen. You have game times that are more seen across the country. Brands want to invest in our student athletes. So how do we make it more advantageous for our student athletes to capture some of that name, image, and likeness, those brands, that national platform, to be able to secure those name, image, and likeness deals? So it's really important.
And how do you think consolidation is over?
No. I do think, like I said, the winds of change will continue. I think you'll see more consolidation probably in the next, I'd say, 5 to 7 years. Definitely by 2030, when some TV rights, media rights come up, I can anticipate something then. Or you've got to watch some of the conferences. But the one thing that I'm sure of, I don't know what the future is going to look like, but I know UCLA is going to be strong and ready for it, because we're going to be nimble. We're going to be ready to adapt. And as you can see with today coming into the Big Ten, we're not afraid to change and afraid to lead.
So when we think about this move now, what do you see as some of the areas for growth for our program in this move to the Big Ten?
Yeah, so we talked about name, image, and likeness and just giving a national platform for our student athletes to compete around the country. That's one. But with this move, we're able to do things for our students that we just haven't been able to do before. To give you an example, before this past season, we didn't have a place for our student athletes, and primarily I'm talking about our Olympic sports, to have a meal together with schedules, meal plans, different times. It's really a challenge. And one of the things that when we made this move, I asked our student athletes, going to the Big Ten, we're going to have more resources. What would you like to see? And over 80% of them said more nutrition, better nutrition. We want a place that we can see other teams collectively, kind of like we're all together. Our athletes are so spread out. So starting next year, for the first time ever, we're going to feed all of our student athletes breakfast and lunch every day. And I mean, a nice, like a breakfast and lunch. Yeah.
Even hearing you say that, Martin, it's hard to believe that hadn't been happening.
You didn't have the resources to make it happen, quite frankly. You didn't have the money. Now we're going to spend $4.25 million next year just feeding our student athletes breakfast and lunch in one central place. So softball student athletes, tennis student athletes, men's soccer, they can all come together twice a day and know they can see other of their brethren and their classmates that are doing what they're doing, representing those 4 letters. So we're going to spend over $4 million in nutrition. We're going to spend about $1 million in mental health. So as you all may or may not know, mental health for our young people is a serious challenge all across the country. It's not unique to UCLA. And 2 years ago, we had one main psychologist and we had one other person that could provide some mental health support.
And that's one for how many student athletes again?
Close to 700 student athletes. So now we're going to spend over $1 million annually, and we're going to have 5 to 6 practitioners now, because one of the yes, that's
I think you're getting a lot of affirmation here, Mark.
Yeah, because that's one, again, I always take the feedback of our students. They said, we don't want long wait times if we want to see someone to talk about the challenges of what we're going through. And so we wanted to reduce that wait time, that if you feel like you need to talk to someone, you don't have to wait 3-4 weeks or 2 weeks. So that's a big contribution. And then last, academic, we're going to spend about $560,000 for more counselors and tutors to be able to travel with our teams across the Big Ten footprint to make sure their academic study stays on top of the game.
All right. So that was one of the things that I was going to talk with you about today, is just exactly where you're going, is the building of the infrastructure to support our student athletes. Can you talk a little bit about what that looks like for our coaches too?
Yeah. So, the one thing I want to say is our coaches have been outstanding through this whole process. It's not easy to go into a coach's office and say, hey, you've been doing things a certain way for this period of time. By the way, we're going to change conferences and you're going to travel all across the country to compete. Not everybody's built for that. I can tell you unequivocally, 100% of our coaches all in. Day one, from the moment that was shared with them, that they were ready for it. That's how Bruins are. We don't run from anything. We run to it.
Going back to where you started in this a little bit. So when you said you kept this quiet, when did the coaches and students find out?
They found out June 30th, 2022. You have to keep these kind of things quiet. You really, to do something of this magnitude, you just have to keep it tight and apologize later. And as you know, we went through a lot to get here. But it worked out.
So you were, my apologies for interrupting, but people have met me, I do that occasionally. So you were starting to talk about the support for the coaches. So talk a little bit more about that transition.
Yeah. So one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to make it easy for our coaches and staff to do this. I think we've got to do a better job, and we're doing it now, utilizing what UCLA has to offer. We have so much talent and excellence on this campus. So I remember when this first happened, I had a conversation with Brad Stevens because I got to know him when I was in Boston before I got to UCLA.
For those who don't know Brad.
Brad Stevens, he's the president executive for the Boston Celtics, who just won an NBA championship.
That Brad Stevens.
But I talked to him and I asked him about travel, and he said, when you were a coach with the Celtics and had to go cross country, what are some of the things you did, or who were some of the resources? And he said, he had talked to, I believe, some sleep research folks at Stanford. And I was about to call Stanford. I said, I ain't calling Stanford. I ain't doing that.
Stanford calls us.
I said, I'm sure we've got it here. And so we have a wonderful sleep clinic. If any of you didn't know that, we have a wonderful sleep clinic at UCLA. And we have some doctors there. I connected with 3 of them who were ready to help. So they're going to they've been working with our programs, and they're going to have individualized plans to help our coaches and our student athletes understand biorhythms, when you go to a different time zone, when you should sleep, should you sleep on the plane, should you not, those kind of things. We engage with them. So I'm really proud of, shout out to the UCLA Sleep Clinic for all your help and work with us. We did that. And also too, infrastructure. One of the things I want to make sure that everybody understands, and again, this is part of where college athletics is. To be successful, you have to have a healthy football program. We have a great history in all of our sports, and we're very proud of that. But I want to be clear, we have to make sure we have a great future trajectory in our football program, because around 90% of the revenue that comes into college football and athletics now is derived from football. So one of the things we've done is we looked at the Big Ten and other programs and what they had, and we've invested significantly. We've got a new head coach in Deshaun Foster, who that's right.
A Bruin.
He's a Bruin. He's bringing back a lot of the traditions. I've never seen a Bruin walk before. I'm going to see one September 14th. But we really had to invest in our football program in a meaningful way. So we bolstered our recruiting efforts. We bolstered our player evaluation efforts. College is looking more like professional football, basketball. So we're really borrowing some of the things that we've learned. And we're in LA, so we could talk to the Rams, the Chargers, talk to Philadelphia, talk to Pittsburgh. And so we're looking at those things, and we've really bolstered those areas. And you probably can see that whether you come to practice or social media, just how much we're putting into our football program. But make no mistake, we've got to have a healthy football program. If you don't have that, you're not having a day like today going into the Big Ten.
When you were talking a couple of minutes ago about infrastructure, also want to do a shout out to UCLA Health because they were, thank you. UCLA Health, as you've probably seen, is also supporting some of the teams in Paris, but have a fabulous relationship also with our athletic program.
Absolutely. UCLA Health, I mean, they're partners with our student athletes and being responsive and just being there for us. They're also a corporate sponsor as well. So we've got a great relationship with them, and we really benefit from UCLA Health.
So the other thing I had understood, Martin, correct me if I'm wrong, is that
I will correct you, Julie. I'll correct you.
I like to feel like
I'm having fun today. Today's a good day. Today's a great day. It's a great day to be a Bruin. Great day to be a Bruin.
I had also understood that in addition to that healthy football program, there's also something particularly in the basketball when it comes to Final Four, et cetera, et cetera. Is that something also that we're looking in terms of investing in the basketball program?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everybody knows our men's basketball and women's basketball, our basketball programs, they're crown jewels of UCLA. That's a big time program. Is what we're known for around the world. I mean, just think back to that last Final Four run that Mick and the team had. I think it was 2021, maybe.
Somebody here knows.
It's like when COVID happened, like you get all the years confused, but I think it was 21, and how that just brought Bruins together all around the world. I mean, that was magical. And so we've got to make sure our football and our basketball programs are healthy. Mick and Corey do a great job. But again, we are investing in that. Name, image, and likeness, NIL, is really important. I would ask everyone to give to NIL, name, image, and likeness, because it benefits our student athletes directly, helps us retain and grow our student athletes. Men of Westwood is our collective. Champion of Westwood also for Olympic sports is under Men of Westwood. So I highly encourage you, if you have not, to consider giving to Men of Westwood and name, image, and likeness, because that's what helps us retain and attract the best and brightest. So you make no mistake, we're going to invest in basketballs too, because again, a lot of the revenue is derived from that, primarily football, and to a smaller extent, basketball.
Okay, thank you. And while we're reflecting on the NIL request from Martin, could I possibly get 2 glasses of water from our team? Thank you so much. So we're talking a lot about the Big Ten, but I know that there are some of our sports that are not making that transition. Could you talk about the sports that are not headed over and what the impact is there?
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So we have a few of our sports that, these are big books right here. Let's see, can I put it right there?
History.
UCLA history. All right. A couple of our sports are going to maintain their conference affiliation. Men's and women's water polo is in the MPSF. Men's volleyball is in the MPSF. They will stay in that. There's no Big Ten. The Big Ten doesn't sponsor water polo and men's volleyball. And then beach volleyball, we're still working through that transition. We got a year to figure that out, but we'll find a home for beach volleyball. But those are the 4 sports that will stay in either the MPSF or beach volleyball will be in a different home.
But all of those sports are getting that same level of increased support. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
Talking about.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that, among many things, Martin, that I really appreciated is about this tremendous partnership that you have and you extend to our alumni. And as you can tell, it's something our alumni care very deeply about. So one of the things that we're doing is looking for ways to really expand that sense of alumni community as we join the Big Ten. Really, for example, when we're playing Rutgers, one of the things that Martin suggested to us is, hey, let's do a Bruins week in New York and Rutgers. We're going to do some career events. We're going to do, so we'll be sure you know about that. And so many ways for Bruins to come together and to support our student athletes. So we're looking for all kinds of ways that we can do that. But in terms of support, and you start to go there a little bit, Martin, what are ways that our alumni community can really support our athletic program and our student athletes?
So like I said,
you bet. There you go. There you go.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Go Bruins. So like I mentioned earlier, this is a new day, and UCLA is only going to be as successful as our alumni, as our fans, as our supporters. This is an all-in kind of deal, team. We're not going to do this alone. So we need everybody to come together and figure out ways that you can support our young men and our young women that proudly represent those 4 letters. So what does that look like? Obviously, buying tickets. Come out and see our student athletes. Come to games. Cheer them on. They feel that. That helps them. If you're in a position that you can donate, please donate. Wooden Athletic Fund. If you're in a position to give to NIL, name, image, and likeness, Men of Westwood, Champions of Westwood, very important. But then there's some other ways that you can get involved. You know, our student athletes need mentors. They need internships. They need advice and counsel. So if you're willing to do that, I know the Alumni Association does a great job with connecting our alums with our students. Be willing to take that phone call or that email and call a Bruin back and email and give them advice, or if you know your HR department has internship or work opportunities, let us know that. That really helps. And when we have events like we're going to Rutgers and having a New York swing or going wherever, a lot more places, let's go. Let's go.
We're gonna be in the Bayou.
We're gonna be in the Bayou. If you never, how many of you have been to New Orleans? We always want to go. Well, here's your opportunity. Here's your opportunity right now. But I want us to travel. You know, we've got to travel and watch our teams compete more. You know, I'm tired of turning back tickets, visiting tickets when we have a game at LSU. I want to sell all those LSU tickets out. I don't want to give them back to LSU and have more Bengals or Tigers in there. I knew it was one of those. You know, I want Bruins to be in there. So those are different ways, but just whatever you can do to help our students, it matters. It makes a difference. And I would say come to the Rose Bowl. We need more people to come to the Rose Bowl and watch our young men perform. And that first home game is September 14th. All right, September 14th, 4:30. I think it's 4:30. So it's a great time. You can do all you need to do in the morning. I got 3 girls. I'm gonna be running around the soccer games and all that. And then we can put everything else to the side and we can get ready to win a football game September 14th.
Well, and September 14th, the team that's coming to town wears a color that Bruins don't particularly care for. That would be what? Red. So we need a lot of blue and gold in the stadium that day. And I think, so why don't we stay with that for a second, Martin? Are there some special things that are happening that day just because it's our first Big Ten game at the Rose Bowl?
So my marketing team may embargo some of those things to make sure that you come
no
and
one will
experience
tell.
them. Well, you got to come and experience them in person. But we got some exciting things. Obviously, it's our home opener. It's our first official home game as a Big Ten member. It's Deshaun Foster's first game as head coach of UCLA. And that's our Hall of Fame game. So that's our Hall of Fame weekend where we're going to induct 8 Bruins into the UCLA Hall of Fame and recognize them at the game at halftime. So it's an exciting time. Hall of Fame weekend is always fun.
So who are some of the folks that are getting inducted this year? I know you get to make
Julie,
those
I don't
calls.
know that.
I saw it at Santa Maria.
You have a better idea right now. I've got so many
okay.
numbers. You know, these are kind of numbers I have in my head right now. We've won 88 conference championships in the past 20 years, second most in the country, among 17 sports. You haven't seen winning across the board like that anywhere else but UCLA. And I'm proud of that. If you look at the LA Times today, we had an article in there that talks about some of the preparation. So those are all the things that are like circulating in my
totally
head.
Entitled. But the Hall of Fame is so much fun. It really celebrates and recognizes so many of those names that you're very familiar with. And I know one of the things that you get to do, which I know you love doing, and I love doing from our end, is as you look around the room, you see all of the award winners from our alumni awards over the years. And I know for us in our roles, those are some of the best phone calls you can make because people are just so thrilled and humbled and honored to be recognized by as a Bruin.
That's a fun part of the job.
Yeah.
Telling someone they're going into the UCLA
and we need those some days.
Athletics Hall of Fame. We need those days, but it's a special time. And I don't want to mention it. You mentioned 1 or 2, but you don't mention the other 6. And then
you got it. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll put it in when we send out the note to you all who are here today. We'll put that in there, as well as all those ways that you can get involved in some of those things that Martin talked about, like mentoring and posting jobs and supporting our graduating student athletes. So, and current student athletes with internships. So we'll send you that information. So Martin, just a few more questions before we open it up. We're getting there, people. I know that person isn't in the room today, but if I'm a Bruin that you know, may not follow sports as closely as everybody in this room does. Why, why, why would this move matter to me? Why would this Big Ten move matter to UCLA? Somebody who's not a sports fan.
You know, sports is a great connector. It brings people together. It unites us in ways that are emotional and passionate that other things don't do. And so I would say if you love UCLA, if you love your alma mater, if you love those four letters, then you should participate, engage with our athletics program because it represents UCLA all around the world. I can remember Chancellor Block. And by the way, shout out to our new chancellor as of yesterday, Darnell Hunt, who was over at football practice this morning. Appreciate his support. But Chancellor Block would always say when he goes overseas, a lot of people that talk to him and come up to him, they know UCLA through the athletics program and some of the greatness and excellence that our athletes represent. You watch the Olympics right now. I'm sure everybody in here has seen something. You're seeing Bruins. So athletics and sport bring us together. And we're in a world right now that we need to come together. There's too much division. There needs to be more coming together. And it matters. It really does. But I would say too, you know, care about our students. Our students really need that support. They deserve that support. They chose UCLA and to represent those four letters. And my expectation, as should yours be, is we all get behind them. These are 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. So we want to make sure that we support them just as we were supported when we matriculated through UCLA.
It's really about building that community. And one thing that we do share in common is we all do love UCLA. So a little bit of a different road to go down for a minute, Martin, is you've been here since 2020?
2020, right when the pandemic started. It's been crazy.
Exactly.
But we good now.
What a time to start. So as you reflect on your journey as being the athletic director at the #1 public university in the universe for 7 years, what stands out for you in terms of your journey, the challenges and the opportunities of doing the work that you do?
Oh, Julie. Oh, we got to see this. Got to push the button again. Julie, yep. Julie, there we go.
Gotcha.
That is a tough question. We don't have enough time to talk about the journey since 2020. But, you know, there's so many moments I'm proud of. Like I said, that, you know, you never want to say a few moments because then you're going to leave some out. But you do remember those special moments. Men's basketball getting to the Final Four. I felt like during the pandemic, we needed something to bring us all together because we were social distancing and apart. I thought that was special. That showed me the power of UCLA and community and bringing together. I remember women's soccer. We hired Marguerite as our head coach in December. And then a couple of months later, she's playing for a national championship as a first-time head coach.
And who can forget how that goal was scored?
And they were down 2-0 with 10 minutes left in the game going against North Carolina, who had won 21 national championships with a coach that is a legend. And it's like Kelly I says, Bruin magic took over. I'm getting goosebumps. We tied the game with 17 seconds left, and then we win in overtime and win a national championship, you know? We've had so many moments like that, obviously winning 2 national championships this past year, so many student athletes graduating. I'll tell you what I'm proud of. This past quarter was the first one in a while that all of our teams finished with over a 3.0 grade point average. Every last team. Which is special. I mean, that's what we do.
Also speaks to that infrastructure that you're building.
Absolutely, because no matter this change, the first thing is getting a degree and graduating with those 4 letters. This is not a 4-year decision, it's a 40+ year decision, and we got to make sure we position them the right way.
So what keeps you up at night?
You know, I would say the change. You know, I'm okay with change. You know, I came into this job before I even started. I get a letter from my predecessor, Dan Guerrero. He passed on a letter that our former apparel partner sent us saying that they were getting out of a 15-year, $280 million deal. And that's even before I stepped foot in Westwood. So welcome to, that was my welcome to UCLA moment. And then you know what? You take it, you run with it, and you make lemonade out of lemons sometimes. And so I would say the rate of change can be challenging for everybody. You don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we're working through the House settlement right now, which if people aren't familiar, in a couple months, a judge is going to decide if a House case settlement will occur in which starting next year, 25, 26, we would be able to pay student athletes, share revenue with them up to $21 to $23 million. So think about, that's right. And I think we should be sharing revenue, quite frankly. I've been a proponent of that. But think about this. If you have a business and then all of a sudden, less than a year from now, you're going to have potentially, you don't have to go all the way up, but you could potentially have a $20 to $23 million line item go away from your budget that supports the operation. I mean, that's hard. We're trying to figure that out and work through that. So there's so much change in college athletics. That's probably what keeps me up. But again, we have the best coaches in the country. We have amazing student athletes. As long as we have the people that we have, we're going to be fine.
I think we have the best athletic director in the country too. What do you all think?
How much do I owe you, Julie? How much?
So here's my last question for realsies, and then we're going to open it up. And just so you know, we've got some students with some microphones. Is that right? Our fabulous care team. Thank you.
And we have some gear too. I brought some gear. I've had so much in my office that I haven't given out yet. So we got a whole bag of gear. If you ask a question, or if you come up to me and say the magic words, "Go Bruins," I might have some for you.
So no pressure. So Martin, a couple minutes ago when you were talking and we were reflecting on game day for you, and you talked about your 3 beautiful daughters and chasing them around, given the pressure of the job that you have, how do you do balance? How do you do that self-care thing for you?
Self-care is very important. I would tell everyone, you've got to take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else. And I have, it starts at home with me. I have a wonderful wife, Jessica. She keeps me balanced. I'll give you a prime example. I love winging things, right? I'm just kind of go, and she's a planner. She's methodical. That's why we work so well. And we're celebrating 10 years in 2 weeks, August 16th, celebrating 10-year wedding anniversary. Ooh, I'm getting vulnerable here. I can't believe I shared that. I normally wouldn't do that, but just to give her credit, last night I'm just tired from the day, and I'm anxious about today. It's such a big day, and I'm reflecting on the conversations and all the things that went into this. And she said, you really need to write out what you're going to say tomorrow. And I was like, no, I don't. I'm good. She said, sit your butt down, get your laptop out, and write it out. And she at 9:00 last night, she made me write out, and yeah, it's good for her. Is that good for me? But it starts with at home and just having a supportive family. And this is really a lifestyle. Athletics is a lifestyle. So I try to incorporate my girls. It's not always easy. You sometimes you feel like you're doing well as an AD, but then you miss a game of your kids and you feel that. So I just try to give what I can. And I know that my family is the most important thing to me. But I try to take care of myself and working out. I try to run or work out in the morning, and deep breaths. Deep breaths are good.
Remembering to breathe is always good for all of us. So, but thank you for sharing that. I know this job is a lot, and you show up 100%, 180% every day. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So a couple of things about the Q&A. What I'd love to do is, again, we've got our students around with some microphones. Thank you.
There we go. And, over there.
So just a couple of guidelines here is one, one rule is let's curtail the speechifying if we could, and let's get right to the question because we have a limited time, and I want to make sure that we can do as many as we possibly can. So I'll start over here, and then I'll switch it to you. And the other thing is, tell us who you are.
Hello, everybody. My name is Malia. I'm a UCLA Anderson class of 2023, so brand new Bruin. I'm also vice president of the Rose Bowl Bruins Alumni Association. So please come out to the Rose Bowl.
Yes, woo! Come out.
So my question is, how can the various alumni associations partner with y'all and help encourage folks to come out, support our Bruins? We travel with them. We're organizing a trip to Hawaii, so we're going to go watch our Bruins in Hawaii.
Yes.
And so how can we as alumni, and especially part of the Alumni Association, help y'all?
Think, Julie, you want to take that and then I can jump in?
You go.
Okay. Well, the first one is just that. I was just at football practice asking people come there, would they come to Hawaii, right? And actually one person's coming to Hawaii, but one, just showing up. Like that is really important, just showing up. Don't take that for granted what that means. Because it means something to our students, but it also shows the country Bruins care and we're behind our student athletes. So I think that's important. And then when you have an idea of a partnership, let us know. You know, like I said, we were talking to Julie in a meeting and I just said, like, we're going to play Rutgers. Why don't we get there Wednesday and let's just make that a UCLA week in New York? Like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, let's just blow it out. So we're open.
I think there's new ways to partner. Just to pump that up again is, you know, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're doing a lot more as an alumni association in terms of how where we're showing up. So for example, for that Hawaii game, we're doing an alumni event before the game. So let's connect and you can help amplify it and we'll help amplify that you're there. So if you know that you want to do something aligned with a certain event, not only football, but any event, let us know and we'll partner together.
And when you ask a question, go right over there. We've got gear laid out over there. Just go pick you up something. Seriously, if you ask a question, get your butt over there and pick something up because I ain't taking it back to my office.
Okay, a student microphone right over here.
Hi, Jose Torres, class of 2003. Work at UCLA Health, so shout out to
UCLA
that.
Health.
This one's kind of hard hitting. Is the public going to get a UCLA official Jordan release? The shoe? I saw those ones in March. They're beautiful.
That's a better question for Nike and Jordan brand.
Can we advocate?
You should write them and ask. There are 5 Jordan schools. It's us, Michigan, Oklahoma, Florida, and North Carolina. So they treat us pretty consistently as far as what they release. But it's based on what they do. But I would say if that's something that's important to let them know. They don't know unless there's the demand. If there's enough demand, then they'll respond to the market dynamics.
All righty. Okay.
Go get you some.
Tell us who you are.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Go Bruins. My name is Sina Holland, and I'm an alumni, and I just love the school, love this institution, and love our athletic department. Former trainer with the UCLA football team.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Yes. And also, I've been serving with the UCLA Alumni Mentorship Program for the last 10 years. And I wanted to ask you both, is there any work that's being done to facilitate more of a connection and support system for the students who are transfer student athletes? Thank you.
So the way I would answer that, transfer student athletes, the first kind of cocoon insulation support system is their teammates. And I would tell you, we have wonderful student athletes that really take transfers in. As a matter of fact, I was asking one of our football coaches yesterday about a young man that transferred in, and they talked about how Jay Toya, one of our starting defensive linemen, has been bringing him every Saturday to the building and just working on techniques and different things. So we have wonderful student athletes that do that. We don't have official programming for our transfer students. I know the university does, and we allowed them to attend, incorporate that with the university transfer process. I think there was a summer bridge program that our new students were participating in a couple of weeks ago. So we do have that, but other than that, we don't have something formal.
We actually have, and let's connect about that. And thank you for all you do. We have a transfer alumni network that has a mentoring program that I'd love to talk with you some more about. So I'll connect with you afterwards.
Hey, Julie, you should have taken that one first then. You got to jump in, girl. You got to jump in, Julie. Go get you some.
Am I on?
Yes.
On, we heard you.
Hi, how you doing, Martin?
Good.
Good morning, Steve Crone, class of 1970.
Woohoo.
Way back. My dad was a UCLA alumnus, and I've been following UCLA my whole life. Skipping to basketball for a moment. In the past, there have been opportunities where fans could come out for practices. I don't think that's happened with Coach Cronin. He's a terrific coach. I love him. But I think that's something I'd like to see you put in his ear. Have a day when fans can come, season ticket holders, or you limit it any way you want, but where we can see the way the team's working out, get an idea, get pumped up for the season.
Steve, thank you for the comment. I can certainly share that. I do know that there is an opportunity for some to attend practice, and usually though that's reserved for Wooden Athletic Fund donors, people that give to Men of Westwood, the NIL collective. And you've got to understand from the perspective of where this is going, we really need that support, and we want to make exclusive benefits for those that give directly to the program. So certainly that's a good idea. That's a thought that I'll share that back. But it's a challenge in this environment. We really want to make sure that those that give to name, image, and likeness and the collective have opportunities that are exclusive because they're doing something that others aren't doing.
Then do it for them, because it hasn't been available in the past, in the recent past.
Okay. Get your shirt.
And then we're going to come to you in the front.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm a life member of the Alumni Association.
Woo.
And my name is Carlos Catino from Downey. Question for you, are you going to make an effort to preserve some of the historic rivalries with Pac-12 schools? I mean, obviously USC is coming over, but what about schools like Cal, Stanford, those types of rivalries? Will you be making an effort?
You're getting some feedback.
Yeah,
over here.
no, that's a great question. And the answer is yes. We have to make sure we keep at the core what makes college athletics so special. And even though our model might be changing and going more towards a pro model, what makes college unique is those rivalries and that pageantry about college athletics.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are doing that. We announced 2 weeks ago that we are playing Cal Berkeley in a 4-game football series starting in 2026. So we'll play them in 26, maybe 26 and 28 at the Rose Bowl, and 27, 29 there, or flip, I can't remember. But and I know not everybody is happy about that, but I thought that was important to do. To your point about preserving the rivalry, we want to make sure we have a presence for our Bay Area Bruins. We want to get up there. We want to play Stanford also. We're working to try to play Stanford in the early 2030s right now, because I think that's important. That's important to families, you know, that have Cal Berkeley grads, UCLA grads. And so we do want to do that. We're actually playing Utah also. We announced that, I think, in 25. So yeah, that is something that we're going to try to do.
Okay.
Especially Cal and Stanford.
My son and I are huge fans, so we've gone to the Pac-12 tournament basketball in Vegas. I'm assuming there's not going
27 and 28, Vegas, Big Ten tournament is coming to Vegas. So we got it coming to the West Coast.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Julie, can you bring back UCLA Day, please?
Oh, you know, actually, thank you for the prompt. We're going to have that next year. We're doing it.
Awesome.
In May.
Okay. We
Yeah.
loved coming in. He's a big fan.
We'll put those dates in our email to you all. So
Again, like in the past?
So
Okay.
thank you for giving me that opportunity to promote that.
You can pay me later. It's fine.
Questions coming, a lot of questions coming.
You're gonna do it together?
Let you pick some.
Come on, you're, okay. Teresa and Chrissy.
Stand up, you gotta stand
All
up.
right, stand up, come on.
All
We're
right.
doing it together. So we're going to Hawaii. She's going with her cousin. I made my own arrangements and we're going. We want to be able to find places to participate with Bruin things while we're there. And fan travel, if they could set up fan travel for people I know, like with me, I'll go to more of them. If I have help with someone who's helping me make those arrangements, you will get us there. You'll get a lot of people that'll come. It was nice when they had it before, so we were hoping.
I'll just say the same thing. As a senior citizen, driving around in cities and states that I'm not familiar with, trying to get to places, fan travel, I went to every away game for 6 years and I really miss it. I'm going to a few games this year, but it's hard. It's really hard. Things are sold out and you don't know where to go.
Yeah. Now we will make sure that everybody in the room gets all our information about Hawaii. Thank you for that feedback. And that's
Great
certainly
feedback.
something that Martin and I can talk about this year. Now,
I will say with fan traveler, you have to have the demand.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so just the reality, and you all know I keep it as honest and transparent as I can. When you have less demand, we can't get these services from the travel companies to be able to do it. If we have a lot of people that want to go, then it's easier for us to do that. For example,
No, thank
Iowa.
you. We'll do a survey there. But thank
Yeah.
you. That's where your feedback is really important. So going to the next student, go ahead.
That's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Oh, we got one back there
Yeah,
too.
and then we'll go to the back.
Good morning. I just
Morning.
wanted to leave Martin some competitive intelligence for you to consider. Is University of Michigan does they seem to do a fantastic job of treating their student athletes as ambassadors, not only to the school but also to the community. So I wanted you to maybe comment on, as the name, image, and likeness, as that starts to take on some momentum, how the student athletes will be able to participate in local community programs to help attract new talent. Maybe they already do.
We're already doing it.
And tell us who you are.
University of Michigan does a really
You-
fantastic.
your
My
name?
name's Anthony. My wife's an alumni here, so I follow her around wherever she wants to go.
You know what? You're the alum. You're supposed to have Anthony sit down and you ask the question. He's the Michigan man.
Okay, we're going in the
Anthony,
back.
we do that already. You just don't know.
Right in the back over here. Right there.
Good afternoon, Patty Rosema, class of 96, mathematics department.
Woo.
And this is just more of a thank you from.
Just got to pull it away from you.
Yes, so your predecessor, athletic AD, he was great. He really was great. But I just want to thank you, Martin, for really trying to connect us with the Bruin spirit and just making us all proud to be a Bruin, and just bringing us together as Bruin Nation. And I think we need that more than ever before entering the Big Ten. I mean, when you see their school spirit, it's
big. It's big.
And we need to raise our game here. So, but thank you, Martin. We're so lucky and blessed to have you. It's just so appropriate to have you in this moment. So bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go Bruins.
Go Bruins. And we do need to bring it. We got to bring it, team. Thank you.
Hi, Lynette Wardinsky, class of 84. Any insight how we can get a hotel room in Happy Valley?
Have you seen the hotel rooms in Happy Valley? I don't know if you want one in Happy Valley.
And for what they cost.
I'm
in
just
Happy
going to
Valley.
leave that there.
Yeah. A lot of us are staying in Harrisburg.
Yeah, there you go. Not Happy Valley.
I'll be right back. Do any of our students have a microphone question? Okay, go ahead. I'll come over here.
Hi, I'm Anna Winkenbach, class of 2010. My favorite part of coming back to campus is seeing the John Wooden statue. I'm curious if you reached out to Purdue about ways that we can honor Coach when we're coming together now on the basketball court.
We have not. We've been busy with a lot of other stuff, but that's a good call. I think we are going there this year in men's basketball, because I think the Michigan schools are coming here in basketball and we're going to the Indiana schools. But no, we haven't, but that's a good thought. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Judy Maislush, class of 1956 and season ticket holder
Yes.
since 1956.
Yes.
Former Alumni Association board member. My question was started before. I used to travel with Fan Travel. It was by far less expensive than going on your own. As a senior, I don't have all the resources I had when I used to go with them. Is there any way so that I can keep going to away events that prices can come down just a little to help those of us who don't have huge incomes anymore? I adore UCLA. Thank you for putting on this event. I am so happy to still be going to games and still be here.
So this is what I'll say. That deserves a round of applause. That deserves a round of applause. What I can say is I don't have the ability, I wish I did, to dictate the prices from airlines and travel. So we can't do that. But I would love for you to be a guest of ours on a football away trip this season. You're going to come with us. So where's Tori? Is Tori here?
Tori. We'll connect you with Tori.
We'll connect you with Tori. Tori is my teammate that runs my schedule and does that. Tori right there in the hat. Connect with Tori. We'll get your information. She's coming with us for a football away game trip.
Martin.
Yes, that's what we'll do.
We are, unfortunately, folks, we are running out of time. We'll hang around and take some questions afterwards. I do want to promote a couple of things. One is, again, thank you all for showing up. This is a great sign for us to do more things like this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I want to point out that ASUCLA has a pop-up store right out the door with some Big Ten gear for folks. So take a look at that. In a few minutes, we're going to be serving lunch, Brew-and-Own Business, Newport Ribs. So feel free to stick around for that. We're getting set up right now. And also, again, I want to promote that opportunity for the tickets for the Indiana game. So we'll make sure you all have that.
Who has season tickets? I want you to stand up if you have season tickets. Stand up if you have season tickets. Thank you. Thank you. And everybody sitting down, I want you to be standing up this time next year when we do this. I want everybody standing up.
So, again, we'll stick around. Martin, I really want to thank you for your time, for your enthusiasm. And Bruins, we're not done yet.
No.
Because the one thing we need to do when we're together
is to
do that A clap. We can lead in the Alumni Center.
Where's Smitty?
So if everybody could stand.
Is Brian here at all?
Martin, we can do it.
Oh, we can do it. We can do it. All right, we're going to do it. I don't want to stand on the table. Everybody ready? Hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. Go Bruins. Thank you.
Thank you. Go Bruins.
Thank you.